So in the first half of this lesson, which was lesson 24, part 1, we learned a lot about subqueries and what they're used for, and sort of the similarities between subqueries and joins, and so on and so forth. But now in this lesson, I really want to dive into the real examples, the real live examples, if you will. So that's what we're going to be doing. And then we'll flip over and talk a little bit about when exactly you should use subqueries, okay? So, now let me flip over to my Toad environment, like so. Let me just clear out some of my old stuff that I was working on. And I guess you can ignore this result set for now. I'm not exactly sure how to clear this result set out. But let me talk more about subqueries. So as I was saying, you can use subqueries. So let's select star from transactions. Where bank account ID is in, and then select bank account ID from bank account. So like I said, if you were just to grab this one select statement and run it, you would get the result set of bank account IDs 1, 2, and 3. So what's happening here is it's taking bank accounts 1, 2, and 3, and it's going to sort of return the results of that into this select statement, which is select star from transactions where the bank account ID is inside of the range of bank account ID 1, 2, 3. So it's going to give me all the transactions where the bank account IDs are either 1, 2, or 3. Okay, that's what's going to happen here. If I run it, it's going to take forever, so I'll just run it and then stop it. And you can see that sure enough, we're going to get bank account IDs 1, and 2 and 3, but I guess it's going to do all the 1s first, and before it hits number 2s and 3s. There's 5 million plus rows in here, so and that's exactly what it's going to be returning is 5 million rows. So it's a lot of data. So I'm just going to stop the query and move on, because it'll take probably around a minute to run that actual statement. Now another thing I want to point out is that you don't necessarily have to have a select statement inside of these brackets. You can actually delete that, and you can just say where bank account ID is in 1, 2, 3. Okay, that would be functionally the equivalent scenario. That would be the equivalent query going on. It's just this is hard coded now. But I just wanted to illustrate that you can put those sort of hard coded numbers inside of an in statement, because this is saying it's kind of like specifying an array of values. Okay, I guess array might be a bad word to use. Maybe a list. It's like it's looking for a list of something. So this is our list of bank account IDs that we're passing in. Okay, because that matches the bank account IDs that we had in our table. If we said, where the bank account ID is in 4, 5, 6, and we ran this, nothing would be returned. We get 0 results because in my example of the transactions table, all the transactions that exist for bank account IDs 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now you can also say where bank account ID is in 2, 3. So maybe we just want to get rid of the bank account ID of 1. So if I run this, then you see we get bank account IDs 2 and 3s, sparsely inside of that result set. Okay, so I just want to illustrate the point that you don't need to use a select statement inside. Now I'm not sure if you could call this a subquery, so to speak, because we're not really doing a query inside of a query, but we're rather just kind of giving a list of numbers. But I figured it would still be of interest for you to see that example. Okay. Another thing you can do is you can sort of give it the inverse of what you would expect. And what I mean by that is you can not it. You could say where bank account ID not in this list. So if I say select star from transactions where bank account ID is not in 2, 3, what that's saying is, give me all the transactions where the bank account ID is not 2 and is not 3. Okay? Or rather, or is not 3. So if I run this, I should only get bank account IDs, or rather transactions with a bank account ID of 1. Okay? So that's the power of using the not modifier. You can say not in versus in. Okay? just thought I would also show you that one. And let's see, what else would I could do? I could also say, or just to illustrate my point, say select, instead of saying bank account ID, I'll say bank account number from bank account. Okay, I think bank account number is one that exists. Let me run just this subquery. So sure enough, we see that we have bank account numbers A, B, and C with all their, digits after the alpha character at the beginning. So if I were to run this, you can see that it's comparing in the where clause. It's saying where bank account ID, let me get rid of the not, just to go back to the joining situation, where bank account ID is in select bank account number. So you see that there's going to be a mismatch. It's going to be comparing the numbers 1, 2, 3 to the bank account numbers A, B, C, something, something. Okay? So if I run this, hopefully, and sure enough, we get 0 results back. There are no matches because these two fields don't match each other at all. Okay, so that is why the when you see the subqueries with the with the where clause and the whatever in, you need to select the appropriate field here, the appropriate column, which is the identical one, bank account ID. Okay, then I can run it, and sure enough, we get results, and we will get over 5 million because we're selecting every single bank account from the bank account table. Now, if I wanted to, I can modify, like I said, this is just a simple select query. We can modify this. We can add a where clause here as well. We could say select bank account ID from bank account where, let's see, bank account number is like, and then I can say contains the letter B. Okay, I'm not sure if I had a lesson on this yet or not. I think I mentioned this in one of the Q&A webinars that I did, but let me just run this for you so you can understand the like statement. If I run just this subquery, you see that it matches to bank account ID 2. So what this is this just a wildcard character. The percent signs are just a wildcard character. So it's saying, give me the bank account give me inside the bank account table, give me the bank account numbers that match this criteria. So this is saying any bank account number that has a B inside of it anywhere. Okay, maybe I could say select star just to illustrate this a little bit better. So let me run this, and you'll see that the bank account number indeed has a B inside of it. Now I could change this and get rid of the wildcard character at the beginning, and what this says is, give me the bank accounts where the bank account number begins with the letter B. Okay, so I can run this, and sure enough, I still get the same result. Or I could flip it around and say, give me the bank account numbers that have a B in it somewhere after the first character. So I'm not positive that makes sense. Let me just run this. Okay, yes, there we go. So indeed, there are no return results because there are no bank account numbers that have a B inside of them after the first character. Okay, so this is looking for a B after the beginning. Okay, but there are none that match that criteria. Okay, and you don't have to put letters in here. We can switch it up. Let me put the wildcard character back. You can put a number in here where the bank account number has a 6 in it anywhere. Okay, and I can run this. And sure enough, bank account IDs 2 and 3 have a 6 in there somewhere. So let's see. Yep, bank account 2 has a 6 as the third last number, and bank account 3 has a 6 as the fifth last number. Okay, so that's just one way to use the like modifier to just as a wild card, sort of a lookup, if you will. In any case, the point is this is a query that returns this as a result, bank accounts 2 and 3, and we can mash that in as a subquery. But if I run this, it's not going to work because I have a select star in here, and I'm breaking the cardinal rule of this column matching this one. So if I were to run this, I think it might even give me an error. Yes. So it says the operand should contain one column. And what it means by that is right here, this should contain only one column because we're joining on one column. So I need to give it one column, which is bank account ID, which matches the where clause. If I run this, then there you go. I'm going to get bank account IDs 2 as well as 3 because this subquery has 2 and 3 inside of it. Cool? All right. Excellent. Let me stop that and go back to the lecture again because I have a few more things I want to talk about. I want to talk about when we should actually use subqueries. Okay, Subqueries tend to be used by those who are new to SQL, to SQL, because they are easier to read and easier to write. They kind of make sense, they kind of flow, more so than using the actual join syntax. But unfortunately, the majority of the time, subqueries perform worse than joins. So although they are easier to read and write, there's a penalty to that. They tend to perform worse. They tend to be slower than if you were to write the query out using the formal join syntax. So my suggestion for you is to use subqueries and get used to subqueries and be familiar with them, and practice them, but only use them inside of your practicing sort of methodologies and whatnot, so that you can get used to their syntax. I wouldn't use them in your quote-unquote production level code, just because they tend to, like I said, perform worse. So subqueries, don't get me wrong, they're certainly used in the real world, which is why it's important to learn about them. I certainly ran into subqueries all the time when I worked in my professional career, but you should really prefer to use joins over subqueries when you're writing production-level scripts and queries. And by production level, I mean real-world live systems. If you have like a website that you're creating with some of this embedded functionality with a database, the queries that you should be writing should never be subqueries when you have the actual real application live and running on the internet with users using it, because it might be slow. Okay, cool. So there you go. That ends the talk. Hopefully you understood all of that. Hopefully you took a lot of that in. If you obviously had any issues, just go back to the beginning of this again and rewatch it. It's definitely a fair bit of information to take in. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I wish you the very best of luck with it, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.